Yeah, you're recording now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Twilley. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center at Maryland Capital Enterprises. Just to give you a little information about us, we are a nonprofit based in Salisbury. We also have an office in Baltimore City. We assist entrepreneurs that are getting started in business. We do business consulting, marketing consulting, training workshops such as this, and we also do small business loans. So if we can be of assistance in any way, we even help with the business plan, cash cash flow projections, things like that. So if we can be of assistance, I'll put my information in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to me. If you're located in Baltimore, then I'll connect you with our Baltimore representative. We cover all the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. So today we have Jessica Koch. She is the owner of Jessica Koch Consulting. She is a national speaker. So she spoke at one of our women's business conferences last year. And I'll let her tell a little bit more about herself. Thank you for being here and doing this, Jessica. She donates her money. We appreciate her.
It's my pleasure. So I will tell you a little bit about me before we get rolling into the LinkedIn training. So I am the Italian mother of 7. I have been speaking for longer than 25 years nationally, keynote all across the country, internationally for about 5 years now. I've owned my own sales and marketing consulting firm for the last 9 years. We do sales and marketing consulting, social media training of all kinds. And about 5 years ago, we started a virtual assistant membership program. So we have about 100 VAs globally that of our virtual assistants that help our clients all over the world as well. And I've been a podcast host for the last 8 years. So if you're interested in being on my podcast and talking about your business or your expertise, I'll have links for that in the slides. So make sure you grab that if you'd like to be a guest on our show. And one of the things that we're constantly developing in is keeping up with what is happening in marketing, what is happening in social media. And a part of that, really big, as you have heard, is creating AIs. And so we're building all kinds of AIs and automations that help our clients stretch and do even more. So I find that hugely exciting. Really good stuff. One of the reasons you should listen to what I'm saying is, why should we listen to this Jessica person? I've done leadership training for some of the Fortune 1000 throughout the country. I've been brought in by the government on think tanks in Washington, D.C. to help county governments and county and public entities like public schools and hospitals and universities and things that are quasi-government think more like a business mind so they can relieve their taxpayers and have some relief in their funding. I was featured as one of the top executives in the Washington, D.C. area, and a book that's printed out and goes out to some of the top businesses and universities in the area. So I've been doing this for a hot minute, and I know a couple of things about sales, marketing, and social media. I was one of the very early adapters on LinkedIn. It started way, way early, right before they were beta. I mean, right after they were beta. So I wasn't quite in the year they opened their doors, but the year after that, I was using the platform. And I've actually was even invited a few years ago by the team that does the leadership training for the Microsoft group. So I taught a class. I'm certified in 6 intelligences, and I taught a class on that for 40 of Microsoft's top executives. And you know, they own LinkedIn, so that was kind of a cool opportunity for me to do that. So that's a little bit of a brag session on Jessie, and now we're going to jump in and do all and cover and do all the things. So let's see if I can get all the technology to work correctly. There we go. So you see how crazy my calendar is. That wasn't the plan. The toolbar is in the way. There we go. All right. So I'm going to kind of hop in between my presentation as well as the live platform itself, because I feel like it's way easier to understand when we're in the actual platform doing it live. But I want to cover a couple of quick things first. Just as soon as the computer catches up with me. it's, your coffee is working well when you're faster than your computer, right? All right, so we're going to present full screen. And it says it doesn't want to present. Well, that's never happened before. So part of presenting is rolling with the flow. There we go. Technology decides to work. Okay, so LinkedIn for beginners. This is kind of getting us started. I love to start with a quote. So social media is an amplifier. This is really important. It's an amplifier. It's actually an amplifier to your relationships. Social media is an amplifier. The little small things we do are made much, much bigger. And that's in anything in content creation. So if you begin to create ebooks or if you create videos, you have done something for a small amount of period, whether it's a 3-second, 5-minute, or 15-minute training, and you have created it much larger than yourself, because not just the people who see it that one time, even this training right here, this training, there's a handful of people on it. There's a good sized group that registered for it, but this will live on. And some of the other trainings I've done for MCE in the past for many, many years to come, for as long as they're out there on the social platforms. So social media is an amplifier. The little things we do now are made bigger. If there's ever a doubt about how you build your personal brand, it's consistency. If you can do it regularly over time, you will become known. The last 8 years, I've been running a podcast. This is a true story. We have over 50,000 followers across all our platforms that follow us because we've been doing it for 8 years. We haven't run ads, and we've done everything organically. It's not millions, but it's still a very decent following, considering that we just jump on and do live podcast interviews, right? So want to have that consistency in whatever you're doing. And we do a live stream also on LinkedIn, so I'll show you some of that. So importance of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is, just an example of one platform that is important. Okay, so there's many right now. So there's Alignable. There's another one I'll teach you about later that's called Be Connected. I have links for these. So if you use my link to create your free profile, I would love that, because I get kudos from the company, even if you get the free version, where that's something different in the world of LinkedIn, where it doesn't matter who signs up. LinkedIn doesn't share. And so they're building out more and more platforms that better serve businesses. LinkedIn is fantastic, but it's also become, if you put all the oceans together of a business platform, that's what LinkedIn is. When you start to participate in some of these other business platforms as they come up, you're then participating in, a lake or a smaller area where some people think, oh, well, I want to reach the billions that are on LinkedIn. Well, you're actually really not. You're not reaching them. So, you have some access to them, but truthfully, in some of these other platforms where it's smaller, you actually get heard and seen even more, because of less manipulation of how the platform itself is controlling how your posts and your feeds are being distributed, based on their changes and their algorithms, right? So one of the things you want to use all these business network platforms is for a broader reach and visibility. That's definitely going to help you, right? And targeted networking. One of the great things is the groups and the communities, right? You get more targeted because you can pool based on our headline. So you know who your ideal customer is, and based on their headline or their industry type or their type of business or their location or the groups and communities they're participating in, you then know you actually have your ideal customer, right? And so that really helps your networking to be more successful versus just networking with anyone who might come in your path, right? So enhanced credibility, you really have this opportunity in this, essentially they're glorified directories, right? All of these business platforms that are available, and there are, again, way more than just LinkedIn, give you this opportunity to be on an electronic virtual directory where you set up, this is all the things about me. But it's very important as you're building these things to realize you do not own these platforms, okay? You need to be building also a brand credibility space that you have more ownership of, like a personal website or a WordPress website or something that you actually have more ownership of versus leveraging the software and technology. So the point is to go out into these ponds of these business networking profiles like LinkedIn, and then pull the right people for your community to off the platform. That's always the whole point. You want to get enough of attention, enough of a relationship and conversation going to get them off the platform and onto your calendar, into your group networking, into a one-on-one meeting, onto your website, onto your community you're building that you have ownership of. People often try to build their whole business success on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, and then their accounts get closed out or frozen out or hacked or something goes wrong. And then everything crumbles on them because A, they didn't have good backups, which we'll talk about backups today. And B, they didn't have a plan of driving them to where you really exist and where you are personally really represented, something that you really own as a business owner. So if you're creating a brand and you're going to put hours and hours into working this, make sure you have a strategy to funnel all of that effort and all of those contacts and relationships and connections into something else. So your enhanced credibility in these profiles are important, but they are just a directory on someone else's software. So remember that. Content sharing, again, you want to make sure you're creating custom content for all these different platforms, but it also all lives somewhere else that you have ownership, that you have backed it up, because you don't want to build all these pieces and all these videos and have everything be gone and only run through the platform themselves, right? One of the other great things about these kinds of platforms, LinkedIn especially, is when you're looking for clients. So on number 4 here, the search tools. When you're trying to find, these lists of targeted networking to lead to targeting clients, the advanced search tools are very, very helpful. Messaging, there's some great ways to do it using the free version. Something else to know about me, I have been on the platform since the very beginning, and to this day, I've never used the paid version, ever. Everything I teach, everything I do is on the free version. And there are opportunities for InMail even from the free version, because you can buy ads that run and you don't have to actually pay a subscription for it if you want to do InMail. I've never done it, and I'll show you why, because I have other ways of getting and building relationships with people where I don't have to buy the ads or buy the paid version. That's just something I haven't done yet. It's not something that is a bad thing to do. I'm just a much more organic business owner than I am an ads running. Now, as we've grown and we have more of a team and we have more resources, we are looking at doing little sprinkles of ads just to see, based on our own organic efforts versus the ad efforts, looking at the data, because it's not about anything personal, right? I usually choose to do collaborations and share revenue with collaborators versus send the money to the ads to these bigger corporations, because that's just a personal preference I have, right? Versus feeding the pockets of these larger entities, whether it's LinkedIn or another social media platform. That's usually my preference, but we really don't want to make it personal. We want to make it about business, data, tracking, and numbers, right? What if you put this many dollars in, how many dollars are you getting out from that time, effort, and money? And that's how you make a good business decision versus just rolling with it. And for me, it feels a little bit like Vegas and gambling. So here's the deal. I am not, here's my non-disclaimer, as I am the Italian mother of 7. I am not a medical doctor, a lawyer, a financial planner. I'm not giving you medical, legal, or financial advice. I'm just kind of telling you my own philosophies and what have worked for me and what I'm planning to do with my company as I grow. And you really have to get good guidance and make good business decisions for yourself, and speak to some of those experts before making those decisions. That would be my advice, is get real, talk to a CPA, talk to a CFO, talk to a financial planner, look at your business and make some good business decisions for yourself. But that's the route we've taken. To get us started out, the next most important piece is your profile itself, right? So this is the LinkedIn 101 class, the beginning class. So we are going to kind of extensively go over the importance of your profile. And actually, we're going to review some of this, but then we're going to jump in and look in the platform live itself so that I can show you exactly what we're talking about. So we're going to go from head to toe inside our LinkedIn profile. We're going to talk about the value of the picture's worth a bazillion words, and maybe even $1 bazillion in some cases, right? So we're going to talk about your profile picture, some of your banners and things, your headlines, your summaries. I wanted to pull all of this out. This isn't the ideal way to do a presentation or slides with massive amounts of words, but I did this actually for your benefit so that as you look at the PDF later of this presentation, you can then kind of go through this list as a checklist, and then you can reference the video so that you can get the click-by-click kind of instruction here for it. So I am going to pop us into LinkedIn now. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And one of the things actually I will do for you is, let's see if we can get it to get its act together here. There's always more than one way to do something. And it's good for me that I know how to do it more than one way, because it doesn't always want to cooperate. All right, so I'm going to copy my LinkedIn URL. I'm pretty sure my team put it in the PDFs, but not 100% sure, as I didn't make those. I was strawberry picking with my family when my slides were made. So that is how it's done. That is what you're supposed to be doing. As a business owner, you should be outsourcing the tasks, spending time with your family, and living the life you want. That's why you own your own business, not so that you can work yourself silly. All right, so we're going to start with this. This is your actual profile. Typically, when you log in, though, truthfully, you're on the home page, right? The home page is where everyone kind of starts out. Your profile data and personal information is here on the left. Your feed is in the center. And then some of the highlights that LinkedIn wants you to look at is here. And then this is just some of the conversations that pop up here. So to go to your me circle, because it is all about you in this training today, you're going to go to your profile, and that's how I got to this main page here. Now, when you're in your own profile, you'll have these great little pencils, right? The ability to go through each section of your profile and edit it. I'm going to show you something magically happens. So as you're on this main page, if you scroll down just a smidge, a little bit, and keep playing with that scroll down just a little bit, another toolbar pops below the first. This will allow you to get more information here of things that you can do with your profile. So you can send your profile actually in a message. You can download your profile as a PDF. A lot of people don't realize that. You can build a resume here inside LinkedIn. And then if you find that as you're going through the checklist and you don't have everything in your LinkedIn that I do, here's the add a profile section. So that's what you're going to do to add that. So as you're going through the PDF that I gave you with all those words on it, I did this purposely because then I want you to go through and say, oh, I have that. Oh, I have that. Oh, I have that. And if I don't, here's how I find it, right? And within each one of these little sections, you're going to have more information, right? So this is how you can add education. I already have an education section. You can add a position here, and you can add services, and you can add career breaks and skills. The skills one is fun. It is, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's very much like a keyword search engine inside the space. And then under recommended, you'll find even more places where, like, if I'm talking about licenses and certifications, but you didn't see that in the original checklist, it's because it's hiding under recommended, right? So you're going to want to click in each one of these and double check. There's test scores in languages, honors and awards, patents, all kinds of things here. So again, if you're not seeing it, so all I did was to make that a career net. Look, I rolled to the top of my profile, it's gone. Now all you have is the standard home, my network, jobs, messaging, me circle for business, and that toolbar completely disappears. All you have to do to make it come back is scroll down a little and play with it, and there it comes. So you have the more, and you have your add a profile section. A lot of people miss that, so I keep reviewing it. I know I keep telling you, but they'll be like, wait, where was that? So that's the thing. So your banner, one of the best places to create it is inside Canva. That's actually where I made our slides for today. And you want to make sure that you play with it and adjust it so that it fits. You simply hit the edit tool so that you can add it. You really want on the banner it to say exactly what you're most interested in featuring about your business, right? One of the things we do heavily is we draw guests into our show. We have a panel style expert guest show, and we're constantly putting information out to bring in new and interesting guests because we run several podcasts a week, filling those spots. And so then the other important things for people to know about us is our virtual assistant membership program, that I'm a speaker. So think about what is the most important things about you that you want people to know the very first second that they see you. One of the other things you could add here is your website. Maybe you want them to see that right away. Maybe you're a mortgage broker or a real estate agent and you want them to just pick up the phone and call you. Maybe you have a special business line set for that. You're very comfortable putting it on social media. Remember, I'm not your lawyer. I'm not giving you legal or financial advice, but you got to put out the contact information you feel most comfortable with. The profile picture is super important. You really just want it to be your smiling big bobblehead, right? It just needs to be shoulders up. You really want close in. All the psychology of a human tells how important it is from birth for that eye contact, for that smile, for people to feel like they can actually approach you, right? You want to seem approachable. And if you're not looking at the camera and smiling, it does make you seem less inviting and welcoming. So that's an important thing to do. Verification is something I haven't played with yet. I know it's very simple. There's a reason I haven't done it yet. I'm very big on making sure I have all my data backed up. I have all the things done before I do a new thing that they throw out on LinkedIn. They've had it there for a while and I just haven't gotten around to it. But it is helpful, and I already have my two-step verification and all my other stuff set up with LinkedIn. So it is good to have your account verified, really just trying to prove that you're you and trying to avoid too many bots and fake accounts and things like this. So verification is something I'll eventually take care of. I just haven't done it yet because I want to make sure all my ducks are in a row, because sometimes when you do something big like verification inside LinkedIn, it can do something wonky with your profile itself. So I'm just careful. I've learned from softwares and years of participating and doing this and trying and playing with new things. Oh, it's a good idea to do all these steps before I play with their new their new pieces. So I haven't done that yet. Now, what I will tell you is on your phone, and actually since they made the change, mine has gone away and I'm going to need to add it back. But used to have a video that popped up right here in my profile photo. And since they made the update, it's gone. So I have to re-add it, and I have to add it using my phone. So there's a way to actually put a video that plays right into your image. And I just noticed that it's gone. The other thing that you have to do from your phone when you create it, so from the phone only, is this microphone piece here. And tell me if you hear this, Lisa, because I'm not sure if I played my volume for you.
Hi, I'm Jessica Koch. I will help you grow your profits from seed to orchard. Sell more, spend less, and check out my virtual assistant program.
Yeah, so So you get a chance to, the idea originally behind that little microphone next to your name is really name a pronunciation, but that's prime real estate and prime opportunity to also give your little, here's what you're about and here's what you want them to check out, right? The other thing that I like for you to include in your headline is, again, the key things that are most important to you. So I have that I'm a speaker and a podcast host, and I'm looking for podcast guests, right? And then how I can help you, right? I turn it around to, okay, this 2 pieces are about me, but the last 3 pieces are all about you. Here's what our company is into doing. We amplify people. We help them bring and find their clients and attract their clients to them, so that they're not constantly chasing them. And so this is the message I'm sending. So think about the message you're sending in your headline, because that is super important. You want a little bit about the most important things you want to feature about you again, like we talked about on the banner above. And if I have time later, I may even pop into Canva and show you how to create this banner if you guys don't know how to do that already. I know this is a beginner class, but I want to make sure we get through everything else first, time-wise. All right, so then this section here is going to be edited with this pencil. So we're going to come in here and we're going to take a look at a couple of these things. Now, what I would say is do your name as clean as possible. I know many of you have earned the rights to have all these amazing letters behind your name, and that's great, and I respect it totally. The reason you don't want to have them here, though, necessarily, is because it can make the search engine a little wonky for you, right? If someone is searching for you, you want them to find you by their name. They're not going to type in all the little letters that you've earned. So you want you to come up first and foremost. And then put the letters in the headline, put the letters in other parts of your profile, put the different things you've learned and you've earned other places. There's lots of places for this. And also explain what they are, especially if they're more than, a PhD, because there are a lot of certifications and accolades that receive, 2 and 3 little letters behind someone's name. And, it just looks like a bunch of letters to me if I'm not in that industry, right? And your customer may not necessarily be in your direct industry and know what all your little letters mean. And so having that makes that even more impressive, Additional names only if you really feel like it's valid for you. So if you've recently changed your name because of marital status changing or whatever's happening in your world there, then that might be a good idea. Again, for me, I mean, I've had some names in the past, but for the last 25 years, I've had the same name. So lucky me, because I'm married to a great guy. That I don't feel a need to put any of the other names or any of the names I've had in my past. So that's kind of up to you. Here, I know this is important to some people. For me, I'm just comfortable leaving it without. So that's a preference. And then here's your headline. And I love that they have all AI suggestions with the premium account, but don't forget that if you want some headline suggestions, maybe you've typed out a bio about yourself, a couple of sentences. You can go to ChatGPT, the free version, and ask it to create a powerful, compelling headline for you on chat based on this bio. So based on this bio, create a LinkedIn appropriate, engaging and inspiring headline. One of the other things I did years ago when I taught a class like this for Lisa or some other group was research some of the top headlines of all time in LinkedIn, right? A lot of them are funny or really engaging or really provoking and interesting. You can actually find lists of them if you just search that piece, right? And you might be inspired to, I never say copy anyone, but gather inspiration from all places, right? Anywhere you can be inspired. Don't copy, don't plagiarize, but but do be inspired, and you might come up with something great, really uniquely and personally for you. And do a combination of those things. All of these things, it's not a this or that, it's this and that, right? Go to ChatGPT and get its ideas. Go to the article, look for that top, most compelling LinkedIn headlines of all time. Search that, find that article, read through some of those, and then with your own inspiration from both of those results, come up with this third and wonderful thing, right? So position is going to populate of choices from all the different things you've done below. So that we'll go through that as we get down farther in the profile. And then industry, you just kind of, you search some options based on, are you an accountant? Are you in marketing? Do you consider yourself a life coach or a coach? And then your school and education. I have others down below, but you select the one that you want to be up top. And then of course your location, as much as you'd like to make it comfortable. I like to do a larger range versus just one area, because the work I'm doing are very global, right? So now what I want you to see here is something that often gets missed, right? So if you go here and here, there is more information to see. So these are forms inside a form, and they get missed because they're kind of hidden. So you click this, and now we're going to be in an entirely different form. So this is your LinkedIn URL, which I'll show you how to customize in a minute if you haven't already. The main email address you want, phone number if you'd like to share it. I have a PO box I feel comfortable sharing. I share my birthday, and I'll tell you why I share it. I share my birthday because this is a true story. My birthday popped up on someone's feed and notifications that it was my birthday. And we had worked together, I don't know, 5 years prior or something. It had been years and years since her and I had connected and talked. And she saw my birthday pop up. And at the time, she was sitting on a committee looking for the keynote speaker for 500 women businesses in Denver, Colorado. And she was one of the lead people on this board. And she reached out to me and said, I've got the speaking opportunity. I'm on this board selecting the keynote speaker. I'd really like to throw your name in the hat. Would you like to do it? And of course, I said yes. And they paid me to keynote speak, and they flew me out, and they drove me around like I was some kind of celebrity, and they fed me, and they did all kinds of great things, and with clients and guests, and all because my birthday popped up in her notifications and I became top of mind, right? Now, again, you have to make your own business decisions. Some people aren't comfortable putting their birthday out there. There can be, there's challenges with the world we live in with all of our data and information everywhere. So please make your own personal decision. And I'm not giving you advice, but I'm telling you what's worked for me and what I feel comfortable with, and why, right? So websites, you can have many, many, many websites. So you can put any and all of your URLs. So I have my main website. Well, no, they moved it. So I have my shop website page. That's where I take them. I could add my podcast page. I could add all the pages pretty much of my website. You can add lots of sites now. Used to be just 3. But I think you can add a few more than that now. And then you can also control how much your data is seen by who, right? I have it for all LinkedIn members. You can change this so that it's only your connections, only your network, meeting your connections and people who they're connected to, right? Up to 3 degrees. And I just leave it out for, and you can even make that information private only for you. I just, as reasons I mentioned, do not do that. And instant messaging options, there's a lot here you can add. So if you're on, WhatsApp, or if you're on other instant messaging kind of platforms, there's a bunch you can add there as well. I don't use many of those tools, so I don't do a lot of that. So I use a few, but mostly for private reasons. All right, so not for my business. So contact information, that's where we just were. And it took us back into this other page where we originally were. Remember, I told you we were like a form inside a form. I hit save and I brought us back to where we were a second ago. Now the custom button on your profile, you can add, so I have a link. I've added a custom link, or you can display it as a button. I personally like a link, or you can make the link a words, but I like having the link show, and I'll tell you why. A lot of these platforms will break your affiliate links or your website links that somehow in the process, the link gets broken. And so if you've ever shared, you've copied and pasted, so maybe if I direct message you in LinkedIn, right? And I send you a link. If you click it and then go back and try to copy and paste that link to send it to you, even though you see the link, it looks like a normal. When you send it to someone else, it's got all this LinkedIn garbo with it. And it's like 5 paragraphs long, this link, right? They convert it. And sometimes they actually even break the tracking ability within it. So especially if you're using a link where you're an affiliate of someone else's program, or you're going to get benefits somehow from someone else, you want to be very careful with how you do the links. I try to keep them as unique as possible to their original form. I don't use a lot of bit.lys or tiny URLs and things like that, because the breakage can happen with those as well. And people don't talk about that, right? This is all technology stuff that you're just trusting is always going to work when technology breaks down. And so if you know how it works, and then you can do the things that help avoid that, then you're in a much better position. So for me, I keep it clean in the words. I make it so they can see what the words are, so that they can manually type them if they have to. They can take a photograph of it if they want to. And then they can still get to where I want them to go, right? So that is the link that you see here. And that's how I got it there. So the contact information here is that contact page we were in before, right? And like I said, you can add more websites than this, and you could add the instant messaging and other things if that's appropriate for you. And you can also add this link here, and I just showed you how to do that. And like I said, those are sometimes more difficult to find. This is going to be unique to you. This is about your followers and your connections. And these are also unique to you. So if you want to post and make some more information here, you can add them here. So these are some things that I am, because I do, as a consultant, I do freelance work. And so you have to decide what would that include for you, right? And so that's how I added that piece. Now, suggested for you, this is also private for you, and this is just LinkedIn trying to get me to upgrade. Analytics is also private to you. These are things that you would know. So these are some of the impressions and some of the searches I've been found in just in the last few days, right? People who viewed my profile, people who found me in searches. And then these are resources private to me. So I can find my saved items. I can look at some other different data for myself. Okay. All right. So then the next really most important piece for you to work on is this. And you want it to be engaging. You want to build this in a Word doc so that you can add the fun, emojis and bullet and things that will stand out. You notice here at the bottom, I actually add keywords. I add social media speaker, sales and marketing trainer, LinkedIn consultant, government sales consultant. I add different terms and I use some of my real estate for that. I make sure that you have my contact information in here as well, email, phone number more than once, website, whatever you feel comfortable sharing again, right? But I put all of this here because not everyone who uses LinkedIn all the time actually knows this button is here to look for it. So I never want them to be looking for my data. True story. You're responsible for making things easy for people. You want people to hire you, use your service. You are responsible for your own easy button. True thing happened. I had a lead for a real estate huge opportunity and needed a real estate agent for New York City, right? Didn't know any New York City based real estate agents. So I thought, well, I'll go to LinkedIn and see who I'm connected to on LinkedIn. that's a real estate agent in New York City. And I was connected to like 30 of them and really didn't have any relationship or know any of them, just happened to be connected to a bunch of agents in New York. So I started to go through each of their profiles. I had to go through six profiles. I know all the places to look for your contact information. I check contact info. I check the about section. I check their current experience section. Do you know? I wanted to pick up the phone and call a real estate agent so I could feel if I like them, see if they were interested in this. Did they have an expertise in this? Did they have a recommendation? Whatever. Could not, I had to go through 6 profiles to find one that had a phone number that I could pick up the phone and call. Now, don't make it that hard for someone to give you business. Those first 6 missed business because that deal went down. That person needed an agent in New York City and I was going to find them one. And so if you make it hard for people to find you and hire you, then, that's kind of on you. So I'm telling you, this is another great place to put whatever contact information you feel comfortable putting. And don't work so hard. Okay. So if you already have a website, if you already have content you've written, you've already had articles you've written, if you already have details about yourself, get ChatGPT to write your about section, your summary section. It's 2,000 characters. So always get it to write. I always ask for it for like, I don't know. I always do something like 100 less than what it really is. And sometimes I'll do it in batches of 500, right? And then put it together and reorganize it and play with it some. But get ChatGPT to spit out some great stuff and then take it into a Word doc and edit and tweak it the way you like it and add some emojis and add some personality and add whatever you need. But do use all of this real estate, okay? And don't just type it in here. You'll hate yourself later, okay? Oh, and I lied. It's 2,600 now. And see, I'm short some. So I'll probably be rewriting mine. It used to be only 2,000 in this section here. And then the other interesting thing is they didn't used to have the add a skills connected to your about section, but and that is down below further, but I will show you here. So one of the cool things is, think of this, I'm going to use the real estate agent example again, because think of this not as your personal skills. There are no skills police. Okay. You start with your personal skills. You do start with that of what you are truly skilled at. Then you consider industry standard search terms, because this is truly a keyword search tool built right into the software. And LinkedIn and YouTube and I don't know, a couple of other specific sites are pretty much, if you have a profile, the first top result if you search your name. If your own website comes up before LinkedIn, it's shocking because it's just so toned in to search engine optimization that Google first page is usually, when you put your name into Google, it's usually LinkedIn or YouTube, depending on how much you have there, or, and then your website, if you're lucky, and it will show up when you put your own name in, right? So think of this as keywords for your industries. For example, a realtor might also because you get 50, or at least last count, you get 50. Last time I looked at the number changes, because they are constantly changing their numbers, is you typically get 50 skills that you put up there. So when you get down to like, okay, what else could I possibly list? Well, a real estate agent might put new home build. They're not building new homes. That's not their skill, but they are in that industry. Renovation. They're not a renovator for a house, but they're going to use that term. They might put mortgage and loan and home lending and real estate investing, and they might put other things, but it's just to drive them based on industry. It's not to say they are a key skilled expert in that area. So do start with what you're actually skilled at, but then do consider this as a keyword search for your industry as well. And one of the things I love is if I put in sales, then you get all of these great options, right? And there aren't very many for me because I've taken most of them. So once you take one, it'll take it away. See, currently I have these. Well, I could also do retention, experience, insight, engagement, and all of these. So it gives you kind of prompts of ideas of what you want your keywords to be. Also, though, you can create custom ones. So that's good for you to know also. I'm not gonna and show us where you use this skill. And so this is also new. Playing with the tool today and seeing some stuff I hadn't seen before. So that's very cool. So you can go through and then share with them where your different skills came from, which is a lovely feature they've added. You can tell it's been a while since I've done all dissecting through my own LinkedIn. Very funny. All right, we're going to save this. We are done. I don't want that. Okay. All right, so after the About section, you're going to see the services that I provide, and they've added it so that you can get reviews and other things on this page, and that's actually an added feature too. But I added in, you can add in what you want, some of the things you're about. But I also have all of this on my company page. So this is also data that's going to go on your company page. So don't stress out about it too much. And then again, they give you the characters here of 500. So you do want to try to fill up these spaces as much as you can. So there you go. Featured, this is a really important one. So just about any of the material that you've created for your business. So if you have slides that you're willing to share with the public, if you have PDFs you want to share with the public, if you have video you want to share with the public, this is a great place to put it because it scrolls through like a carousel and then you're able to see all of them, right? And then and this has actually happened where I've been hired to speak at an event because they came to this PDF. This is my speaker one sheet. They reviewed my topics and they reviewed some information about me and gave me a call and hired me for the speaking gig, right? So again, if you give them the easy button, then they will work with you. I'm trying to move our faces out of my way so I can click all these buttons. Okay. There we go. All right, so back to featured. So really adding it is no problem. You just, you can add any of these things. So you can add a post, you can add a newsletter, you can add an article, you can add a web link, you can upload presentations like I mentioned, and images and PDFs and all of this. And then you can edit this. So meaning also you can move around how you want it to be. So if you want this one of these days, I'm going to get our faces to be in the right place so I can touch all the buttons. So if you want this one above here, then you can move these around. So once you put things in here, if you decide, oh, I really want them to see this is the big thing I'm doing right now, then just navigate this, grab hold of these little lines, and you can pull them up, right? So people can see them. And then now I've rearranged my featured some, right? So you can add more and you can edit the layout of how it shows up. It doesn't show everything here. You have to go to the featured all. So if you really want to decide what are these first few that they can carousel for are going to be. Now, activity is going to show everything you post. And so this will be unique to each person's profile. So this is things I'm actually posting. So you want to go here, you can go to all the posts. And then this is where you'll see some of our interview shows. And then also, you can also do just articles. or you can pull up just events. So these are articles I've written over the years. I have hundreds of articles in here on different pieces of information. So, because we've been writing them for all the many years that we've been on the platform. So that's where you can easily find. And one of the things I suggest, and I often do, is I don't always make slides like I did. I often make a LinkedIn article, and I write the article out and I put all the links and the things I want people to see and have notes on and have access to. And then as I'm giving a presentation like this in LinkedIn, then I would then share in the comments in the chat the link to the article. So then they have the article link. They can go to all the notes. They have everything they need from the presentation I just gave, especially if I'm teaching it out of other platforms like this, right? So here's your experience area, and here's some of what they meant by timeline breaks, right? So we just added in just different things that happened as the company developed, right? And so this is our company, and this is our company page. And I'll show you that a little bit later because I want to make sure that we get through all the main profile stuff, and I may end up going over company pages in the more advanced class that we're doing later this week. And anything we don't get to today, we'll cover there. So make sure you register for the other class as well. And I know if you can't make it, videos and things go out. All right, so the important thing to know about experience. Okay, so some people are like, okay, well, I'm not using LinkedIn to get hired. I don't need to get hired. I have a job or I own my own company or whatever. You still want to have, I'm thinking at least 5, right? 10 would be good, but at least 5 of your different positions and work that you've done over the course of your lifetime. And it's not because this is a resume and you need to find a job. You know, if you're not using it for that, that's great. There's my whole training for the next 2 sessions are really focused on networking and client acquisition and how to use it as a business owner, right? But one of the things you want people to hire you for and realize is your journey to get to where you are. So if you do own your own business and you are providing a service, you want them to know, what did you do before that that would make you knowledgeable to help me now, right? They can go back and see all the kinds of things that I used to do, starting way back to radio advertising sales, which is how I learned a lot about sales in the early 2000s, right? And then the marketing firm that I helped run and manage teams across the region. And we did work for Disney and we did work for all these big, great companies. And I was a regional sales manager with this team, right? And so, you know, just different things that are important for people to know and see about your history and about what you've done and are doing. Now, a lot of people ask me, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing more than one thing. Like I have a job, but then I also have my own company and I have another side hustle and I volunteer over here. How many LinkedIn profiles do I need?" Well, how many of you are there? Just one. Just one LinkedIn, just one person, okay? I'm just me, but these are all the hats. Experience represents all the hats I'm wearing. And I can have more than one hat on at a time in the world of LinkedIn. So you can stack your hats on top of each other. If you're currently doing 5 different things, that's okay. You can put present for all 5 things. So I'm presently with this, I'm presently with this group, you know. So you can have more than one thing be present on your experience. And again, you can organize them based on what's most important to be seen at the top. Just for transparency though, if you are working for someone, make sure I don't know what comfort level it is that they have. I don't know what their rules are based on LinkedIn. From what I understand, you personally own LinkedIn and they can only mandate so much in that space because it's your profile. But you want to, keep things peaceful at your job. So, find out what your guidelines are and decide what you're going to do from there. But you really cannot have more than one LinkedIn profile based on the terms and conditions of LinkedIn, not my rules there, their rules. So, you want to figure out how you're going to work that out. So education, you want to put all the education that you have here. I have some college, but let me just tell you, I have a whole lot of work-life experience and just doing it and self-taught and workshops and anything I can get my hands on and learn. In the past, I've been certified in lots of different things. And I did some insurance in my past. I did some mortgage stuff in my past. Sales and marketing has been my big thing. You can add projects, and this particular project is our video interviewing podcast. You can add volunteering. I always say if you don't have volunteer work, get some, because it's just a good thing to do. It's a great way for you to sharpen skills that you have, get letters of references from great organizations, and really just do something good in the world. And the reason you want to put them on here is not for bragging rights or say, oh, look at me, I'm such a volunteer, yay me. That's not the purpose of putting them on LinkedIn. The purpose is because we can connect better when we have something in common. And so if you see that I volunteered for the Red Cross, or I volunteered for St. Jude's, or I volunteered for the animal shelter, you can be like, I'm a big animal fanatic too. I love that organization too. It's this place for us to find commonality. And that's what the purpose of all these platforms are, so that we can find something in common about one another and really embrace that, right? So it is still 50 skills, show all 50 skills. And we did play with this skill tool up above. But again, I want you to see that, it shows some of the endorsements. It also allows you to move them up and down and set some settings on this and add some more and play with the tool here. So you want to just fill this out, and then I don't worry about it too much more after that. I don't go chasing down people to send me a bunch of skills, endorsements. It's just, it's nice, but it's not urgent. Well, apparently I have some pending recommendations to approve. I think I have, I was gonna say, I think I have almost 60. And what you'll find is this is the more valuable piece, because you can usually get permission from these people to quote them, to put some of the quotes on your other social sites, put them on your website, to put them on a speaker one sheet, to put them on a products and services data that you're trying to distribute. I could go, Glenn, you wrote me this great LinkedIn recommendation. Can I quote you on a few things? I'm putting it out on some marketing material. Get him to say yes in writing. Again, ask your lawyer about all these things. Don't ask me, but that should take care of your permission to submit and push those out. But just make sure you're getting the legal permission to do all those things. We get legal releases signed for all the guests who show up on our podcast, because I do my best to take my lawyer's advice on everything we're doing and how we're promoting people. Publications, we are the most self-published world on the planet at this point. I mentioned that I was featured in a book, and it was actually a kind of a book that it wasn't a collaborative author's style. I didn't pay to be in it. I was nominated in the community. I was selected by a committee. I was interviewed by them, and they had their authors that wrote the piece on me and published it and then distributed it throughout the major corporations, major employers, and universities in our region in the Washington, D.C. metro area. So that was kind of a cool thing. I guess I should put that book here as I'm in it. I will be adding that now that I've had this call with you. You'll see it in the next class. That'll hold me accountable. And then some courses, and I actually have more courses than this. One of the things I try to do and my team do is quarterly we do update this, and we're a bit behind. We're launching like 5 new projects and products and programs, and AI has just made us all giddy. We're playing with all these tools, but honors and awards, languages, sign language counts, Organizations, think about organizations too. I really should go back to recommendations. So you want to have at least 5 of those. Recommendations are really important. And I'm still a hardcore believer that the tried and true traditional letter of reference on corporate letterhead in a PDF format is hugely important to you. You'll notice if you go through my featured area, you'll find several of those of organizations who have actually taken the time on their corporate letterhead to write me a recommendation. Lisa, I think you guys might be one of them. But you want to have that as well as the recommendations on LinkedIn, as well as video testimonials. You really have to work with and nurture in a loving, sort of planned out way throughout the year, how you can gently tap on all your past customers and people who've experienced your excellence and ask them for these different formats of social proof, because now more than ever, it is totally needed. And if you go back and do that, you can also ask for introductions, an email introduction to someone that they know that might be a great fit for you or be willing to meet with you. And as you're getting more recommendations and filling up that funnel of what you need to have your business be viable, you'll also be growing your business and your work right at the same time, right? It's one of those things you can do together. And think of a gift of something you can give these people as you're asking for these things, something nice, maybe a piece of information. Like one of the things I'm building, and I'll be sharing with all of my regional and the state of Maryland clients, is we're building out all the fairs and festivals for the remainder of the year that are in the region that they might want to be a vendor at, or they might want to collaborate and be a vendor with someone else at, and the information on how to get registered and how much does a table cost and when is the event and who do you contact to book a table, and all those kinds of things are really valuable pieces of information to the businesses in a certain region or area. So that's something our team is building as a project for something else anyway. So I'm going to create a copy and a version of it as a gift as I reach out to people in the local area who would really love to have a list like that, right? Already made for them as a gift, while I ask for, hey, how about a video testimonial? How about this, so think about something that would be valuable to your clients that you could give them while you're asking. Now, organizations are huge, right? And so, you want to think about in your past, if you worked for a corporation. So if you own your own business now, but you worked for a corporation in the past, and they were a member of something, you are connected to that organization by, so for example, these are some good examples. So when I worked for another company, on this one I need to edit the date for, but when I worked for another company, some of these I was a member of based on the company I worked for paid membership for these, right? So I was an employee of the company, and from the time that I was an employee, I was associated with those organizations. And then I've been associated with many, many chambers of commerce, and of course, lots more organizations that also need to be added here. Well, I just found that I totally need to update my LinkedIn profile, Lisa. That's what this class has taught me. I don't know what you guys are learning. That's what I've learned so far. But you want to have all those organizations because, again, there's this collaborative piece that even if you're not currently, you can have it based on the timeline that you were. And I need to edit the one timeline, which I will do shortly. But you want to make sure that those organizations are there, and think carefully about the ones that you have from the past. Top voices. This is just something fun that LinkedIn has here. At the bottom here, there are some important pieces, so we are going to go over these tabs. But this is people who are making some noise. These are your influencers within the platform. And they've chosen they're going to show me the ones I'm following, right? These people who are doing big things in the world that I'm also following. And you can see they're following, right? You can't have more than, unless you were actually in the beta, program. You can't have more than 30,000 direct connections on LinkedIn. That's the top out. Last time I checked, they do change the numbers all the time. But followers is an unlimited piece, right? So once they get to a certain number of connections, just like on some other platforms, you can't directly connect anymore, but you can follow. And so that's something good to know. Companies. So one of the things I teach our clients to do is make a wish list of specific exact companies that you want to do business with, that you want to work with. Maybe you're a leadership coach or a life or a health coach, and you know you want to work with the executive team or the staff of a company. Maybe it's a major employer near you. Maybe it's just a big company overall. Maybe you used one of the library free database tools, found companies based on demographics and size of company and revenue of company and size of teams, which you can do for free using your library card. That's a different class. And you can find those businesses. And then when you know which ones they are, you can come here and find their company page and follow them, because you want to know what's going on. You want to hear what's happening with them. If you really want them as a customer, you even want to set up like a Google alert so that you hear when they put out press releases, you hear when something big is happening in their industry, you hear when you can step in and be the superhero and actually help them achieve what their goals are based on the service that you provide these different companies, right? And the things you want to do for them. And they even sometimes put out a call for proposal, a call for help, a call for speakers, a call for, they're going to have a conference or a workshop for their staff. They'll put those things out, and those will show up in a Google alert because it catches most of the press releases that go out throughout the country for specific things. One of the things I knew in my past was a brand new CFO was a hot customer for me. And so I put new CFO in parentheses and got Google alerts just on that category. Now, send that Google alert to an email that you don't really care that much about seeing all the time, because it'll send you a bunch of emails to that email address. So use an email address that's kind of a junk email that you can check based on when you want to check it. Don't send it to a main one, or you'll be saying unnice things about me under your breath when you follow that direction and you send it to your main email. You'll be like, what did that Jessica do to me? Groups is your most important. You're really going to want to go and look for the groups where your ideal customer is. And I work with a lot of authors, coaches, speakers, online course developers, business owners, CFOs. So if you went through all my 100 of groups, you would find that I have a lot of CFOs, speakers, authors. These are the groups I have chosen to join, right? Because they're where my customers live. Newsletters are all here. There's lots of newsletters. People send you all the time in your invitations to connect. Newsletters to follow. I'm a good sport. I follow a lot of newsletters. I don't read them all, but I follow them. And you can create your own newsletter within LinkedIn as well. And then there's these schools. Quite a bit of what we're going to cover, we're going to be covering in the next presentation, because OMG. We're running out of time and we still have a lot to talk about. All right, so I'm going to go back to the top here. I am going to go back to my slides for a minute just so that I can walk you through some other pieces. And I didn't even actually get a chance to take you through all our tabs in our beginning LinkedIn here. Here on the right, you're going to see that there is a custom URL where you can create. You want to make it as clean to your name as you can. I added simply a 1 behind mine because there was another Jessica Koch when I first joined. And I think it was like 2008. And I think they opened their doors beta in 2003 or 4. So I was like right there in the beginning of the LinkedIn world. And still there was another Jessica. Curses, but I'm number 1, so there you go. So you want to clean up yours, get rid of any dashes, get rid of any extra numbers or letters or hocus pocus, because again, for the search engine reasons, and all you have to do is hit this edit profile and little pencil, and it takes you right to that. Let's take a few minutes before we run out of time and take a look at the rest of our slides here. so that I can review anything else you really need to know. And like I said, I did give you a bunch of resources at the end that I will slide through just as soon. Oh, there we go. Takes a minute for it to decide. Okay, so we just went through the profile from head to toe. I do want to go through more, and I will go through more on Thursday about groups for networking purposes, because there's a lots of things. So we already talked about optimizing your profile with networking keys, but there is definitely, we did talk a little bit about identifying key contacts, and I share with you one of the tools that you can use for free to do that. But there's some other research and searching features within LinkedIn that we'll cover in Thursday's class to go through that. We'll also look at connection requests and some of the strategies I have behind that. They have recently limited how many connections you can reach out to on the free version, though. You get a new batch of them every month, so you want to be very strategic about that. But I can show you some of the things that also can be done. Sharing content, I'll show you how to make some posts in the advanced class. Comment and interact with other people. We'll look at that on the home feed. Utilizing groups is huge. We talked about companies and influencers just a tiny bit, but I can show you some other things that we can do for that as well. Request and provide recommendations. I did show you the recommendations section, but there is a specific way you can request them, and we'll teach you that in Thursday's class. And then I will share with you a little bit about even though I don't use the paid version, I will give you some of the insights and some of the pros and some of the cons, but just some different opinions that seem to be rolling around about these, so that you can make your own educated decision. And of course, being consistent is always important. Engaging with your network, is also important, and I gave you some great engagement. We'll cover some more of this in the next class. And LinkedIn to attract clients. There's a little bit more in-depth, really focused on client acquisition. Some of this is similar to the networking, but again, we'll review it in more detail when we go through Thursday's class. Now, the rest of this are all resources. This is another networking platform that actually has, it says 10,000 here, but it actually has like 30,000 users on it and growing. And the cool thing about it is, in their version, you actually can be seen throughout the platform and by all the users versus getting lost in the wash. So there's a bunch of links on some information shows that are coming up that are free to attend, and some links on that. This is the link on how to get on my show. This is a link on how you get on lots of people, different podcasts, if you want to learn about that. These are some free networking events that I attend that are all virtual that might help get you more. This one's not free, but it's a great event. You can be interviewed on up to 5 podcasts in one day when you block off your whole day. So I often share that. I think it's a great one to share. I also have a directory that we'll be sharing next week. I don't think we put it in this one. These are just some more networking events and groups. These are not my groups. They're other people's groups. Most of them are free. This one actually has over 900 podcast hosts on it and shows, and our show is one that's featured. Again, it's not my list, but it's free. So I thought I'd share it as a resource. I like to share lots of resources for you. Another great speed networking kind of meeting and organization. And then our final quote and thought for the day is, it's really about people. It's truly about relationships. Our goal is not to just, do business with everyone, but we really want to do business with people who believe in us and who you believe in also. So I wish you much success in your business. And this is our final slide. If you want to chase and find me down somewhere, you certainly can, as I am a little bit of everywhere. Now let's see if I can figure out how to stop sharing with all of my buttons and slides and all that jazz. There we go. And I think we're pretty close. I wanted to make sure that we got close to timing. It looks like there is lots to cover here. Even funnier, Lisa, is I have an entire entire second slide of the advanced stuff, but the advanced stuff is going to have to be mostly the second half of this stuff because we couldn't go down deep into the other different areas. And I think it's so important for people to get their profiles correct, and then learn about how to, join events and the right way to join groups and the right way to engage with people and the right way to do the advanced search and all those pieces. But if you don't have your profile put together well, and I've seen that a lot lately, it's a real challenge. So
Thank you, Jessica.
you're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for Jessica before?
Yeah, or
Lots
even just
here.
share something you learned that you didn't know, or share something you'd like to learn more about. In Thursday's class, like I said, you can register, and even if you can't come, we'll be doing it, and I'll be sharing the PDF and slides again with you and the video. So it would be great to know if there's something specific you'd like for me to get into more detail about. Anybody want to share anything they learned or liked about today's presentation? We have a bunch of very silent crickets here on the show today.
Don't be shy. Just unmute yourself or put it in the chat if you don't want to talk.
I know it's a very bashful crowd.
Well, thankfully, we are recording it and we can send it to people that didn't get on today, Jessica, and the PDF, all the information, send it to me and we'll get it out to everybody. And then if nobody has any questions, we will
actually
see you on Thursday.
I think if you hang tight, I think my assistant gave me the link to the PDF right now. So let me put it in the chat. And that way you have it and everybody on here has it too. Copy. Minimize. Thank you
all for joining us today.
I know a couple of people were nice enough to say thank you in the chat. So thank you to Eileen and I think it's Claudon, maybe is the other person who said thank you. You're very welcome. I would have loved it if you guys had spoken out loud so that we could see your faces and talk with you, but I know that's not everyone's comfort level, so. There you are. What did you learn today? Anything special, Eileen, that you didn't know before?
Well, I think one of the things that was enlightening was at the beginning talking about having a clean name, because it seems like in my network with some of the people who are part of the International Coaching Federation, they have their credential at the end of their name. So that was something that was eye-opening, especially when you talk about the searches.
Yeah, because you always have to think everything you type into a platform on anywhere, whether it's a website or a social media platform or a directory, you're talking to more than one person, right? You're talking to the human that reads it, but then you're also talking to all the search engines and the computer who is using a different type of reading and understanding for it. So that's why I mentioned that, because it can mess up your ability to be as easily found as you would like to.
Thank you.
Thank you for talking to us. Yay. I mean, Lisa's a beautiful person, but it's nice to see some people. I've been talking for an hour and a half. It kind of feels like I'm just talking to myself.
Thankfully, you are Italian and you talk fast. So you can get a lot of information covered.
Yeah, but we didn't even get through all my slides. I was like, oh, I thought I was going to finish this class and then teach the next one. But there's actually a even third class, but I don't know if we were going to schedule that. We'll just try to get to what we didn't get to for this one for Thursday. Can you click the link that's in the chat? Is it working? I just want to make sure it's working and opening up for everybody.
Let me see. Couldn't preview file. This file is too large to preview. I've got to download it. Yes, but it'll work if I download it.
Or you should be able to just copy and paste the link.
Okay, let me go back.
Or maybe if I click the link, does it open? If I click the link, it opens in a tab. That's what should happen.
All right, let me try.
Yeah, and it's a PDF.
Okay. Let me just copy and paste it.
Eileen, can you open it? Were you able to open it? I just want to make sure it's working.
I get the same message as Lisa, so I'm trying to download it.
It's funny because I can just click the HTTPS. Maybe copy and paste it into a browser link, a new tab. How about you, Elizabeth, or? Okay, Petra says it works for me. It opens in Google Docs. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I had to download it, but it worked fine after I downloaded it.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure you guys can access all those links and resources and information. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, and thank you all for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you again on Thursday for the second intermediate class. And I know Jessica has a lot of information to share with us, so thank you.
no problem. This says it's recording to the cloud. Lisa, can you send me a copy of it? Because I don't know if it's going to be in my cloud or your cloud. It might be in your
It'll
cloud.
be in ours. I know you hit record too, so you might get something, but I'll just send it to you.
Yeah, I don't think I will put it into the cloud. Yeah.
We also will post it on our YouTube video
Cool.
library. So if there's any other classes that you've missed of ours, we do have a YouTube channel. It's under Maryland Capital Enterprises, and you can go to that and watch other classes that we've done, whether it's social media related, financial literacy classes. So be sure to check those out. And stay tuned to our website as well for other classes we have coming up in June and July.
You'll also email the link to the PDF or the actual PDF itself to the people who missed the show, because Elizabeth's saying that she couldn't open it. So if you could just send it out to everybody as a PDF, it should be fine. And they should still be able to access all those links. So.
Okay. All right. We will do. All right. Thank you. Have a good
Again,
day.
bye. You too.